Hello and welcome to How to Write Captivating Sales Copy That Converts More Clients, even if you hate writing. So I think when we're talking about sales mastery, we quite often think about how to sell in person. So when you're actually talking to someone in real life or talking to someone over the phone, and a lot of kind of sales training is around that idea of talking to someone when you're actually kind of using your words, you're speaking, you're looking at their body language, and you can kind of use cues from that. But what a huge part of sales, especially for online businesses, is selling through your words. So you will find that a lot of your audience are reading about your business either on your website or in emails or on social media posts. And you need to know how to write words that sell as well as selling in real life. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And we're going to talk specifically about sales pages. And I'll get into what a sales page is in a minute. So let's get started. So if you have ever said any of these things, you are in the right place. So if you've ever said, I can write, but I never really thought about how to sell through words. If you've ever said, I'm good at a lot of things, but copywriting ain't one of them. And if you've ever said, I hate writing for my business, I'm going to talk you through today how to write for your business in a way that sells and in a way that isn't sleazy, that doesn't sound like you're actually trying to sell to somebody, which is really the mastery behind sales. So first of all, before we want to get started, I want you to have a little think in your head about how hard you find writing words that sell for your business right now. So on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being like, I do not have a clue where to start, and 10 being like, I am a copywriting pro. And copywriting is selling through words. So when I'm using that phrase, that is what I mean. So just have a little think in your head, or maybe jot it down on a piece of paper so you remember, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being don't know how to start, and 1 being don't know how to start, and 10 being like, I've got it covered. Just have a little think about how hard you find writing words. And hopefully we're going to come back to this at the end, and hopefully we're going to kind of made you move up the scale a little bit by what we're going to talk about today. So first of all, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Elle. I run a copywriting business called 23 Wise Words, where I write and teach high converting sales psychology backed copy. So my big thing, I work a lot with coaches, I work a lot with online businesses and consultants. And my big thing is letting you know that sales copywriting is not a dark art. In fact, it's more about the science. And my big thing is teaching you the science so you have these basic skills which are really going to be beneficial to your business. So learning some of the psychology behind what makes copy convert will make your business boom. My background is actually in psychology. So that's where I started. I studied psychology, and then I kind of worked through marketing and ad agencies. And then I always loved writing. And I just discovered this amazing thing called copywriting, or specifically sales copywriting, where I could combine all my sales psychology knowledge with this love of writing. And that's kind of where I am today. So let's dive in. What goes on a sales page? So a sales page can be used to write down your service packages. It can be used if you have a course or a membership. So you'd be writing a sales page to get people kind of enrolled in that. It can be used for low ticket offers as well. So you might have a bundle that you've packaged up and you sell for less than your service packages. You would use a sales page there as well. And it can also be used for freebies. So if you've got an opt-in or a lead magnet or a kind of free offer that you want to tell people about, you can use a sales page for that anyway as well. So basically anything that you want a direct conversion from, you can use a sales page for. So it's not necessarily a page where you're going to then ask someone to book a phone call with you or fill in a form. A sales page is really where you're asking someone to buy now, or to really take that conversion or download the freebie. You want someone to take the action from the page. And that's why we call it a sales page. So before we get into the anatomy of a sales page, I'm going to talk you section by section what you need to include. I want to talk you through the rule of 1. Now, the rule of 1, if you remember nothing else, the rule of 1 is so vital to making sure you have a really clear and high converting sales page. And you can actually use this rule when you're writing anything. So if you sit down to write an email, if you sit down to write an Instagram caption, using the rule of 1 will really make sure you're really honing in on your message. So The rule of one goes like this. It says that you should always be writing to one reader. So do not try and include all your different target audiences or buyer personas on this page. You're just writing to one reader. And if you do need to create different sales pages for different audiences, that's what you need to do. You're making one message. So what is this really strong one message that you want someone to know when they're reading that page? Don't include all the different things about your business or all the different things. Just make sure this is one clear, concise message. You only want to introduce one offer. So if you have packages, that's fine. You can kind of group those together. But if you are writing a sales page for your course or your membership or a freebie, just have the one offer on the page. Do not overcomplicate it. And you want people to take one action. You do not want more than one call to action. So the action is to buy now, to download. You do not have then an action to maybe go and visit your about page. It's like this, the sales page should just have the one action. So that is the rule of one. And I want you to bear that in mind when you're writing your sales page throughout, and also when you're writing anything for your business, really. It's such a great rule to keep coming back to. So here are the 5 elements of a captivating sales page. So your sales page should always have a great hook at the top. So this is where you're really engaging the reader, hooking them into what you're talking about and getting them to read on. So the top section is so important. It has to really hook them. The next section is what I call the That's Me section. So this is where your reader self-identifies. This is where they read through and they go like, yeah, that is me. And you may remember at the beginning of our time together when I had the slide where I asked you, do any of these sentences ring true to you, so that you hate writing for your business, or you didn't think about writing words that sell? Those sentences with quotation marks I asked you at the beginning, that was where you self-identified. So you kind of said, yeah, that's me, that's me. You want to do that on your sales page as well. So the self-identify section is really, really important. The next is where you detail your offer. So we're going to talk about everything this section needs to include a little bit later on, but this is where you're like, okay, this is the offer, this is what it is. The next section is your like, know, and trust section. So this is where you introduce yourself. This is where you build credibility. This is where you tell people that this is who you are, this is what you do, and this is why they should like, know, and trust you. And those 3 things are crucial for someone to work with you. They have to like, they have to know, and they have to trust you, particularly the trust section. And the next section, the last section of your sales page, is your objections. So if you are writing a sales page for a high ticket offer or something that's kind of in the hundreds or thousands of pounds or dollars or whatever your currency is, you may have a really detailed long objection section. So you need to detail out the objections that your reader might have and really quash those in this section. If it's for a freebie or an opt-in or a very, very low ticket offer in the kind of tens of dollars or pounds, then you maybe don't need to go too far into your objections, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. So those are the 5 essential elements of a captivating sales page. So let's talk about your hook. So your great hook includes the headline and includes this intro sentence, which I think people so often, I see this on websites all the time, forget the intro sentence, and they just kind of skip over it. And it's such an powerful part of just making people understand exactly why they're there and how you can help them. So the headline, I always think for sales pages, a question headline works so well. And the reason questions work so well is because it invites your reader to be part of the conversation with you. They're no longer passive. They're no longer kind of sitting back and letting you talk to them. They are actually kind of involved in the conversation as well. So a headline question is really, really strong. And I've included a little formula that I sometimes use here that you can kind of steal if you'd like. So what if you could, and then include the ultimate desire that your reader wants, with, and then a secondary benefit they will get from your offer, without, and then the problem they are currently experiencing. So you can kind of fill in the blanks there. And that's a little template that's so powerful for drawing people in and creating that hook. And the next section is your intro sentence. So this is no more than a paragraph. What you want to do is detail the problem that your reader is currently facing, whether it's a huge pain point or whether it's just a kind of minor frustration. It will depend on what your offer is, but you really want to detail what is that main problem that you are solving for them. Then you want to kind of aggravate that problem a little bit. So kind of just get them to really think about how this problem is affecting their life. or their business. And then you want to kind of talk about the solution. So what is this in one sentence? What is the solution you're offering today? And then the outcome. What's the kind of ultimate benefit they'll get? So this section is really, really powerful. It means that at first glance, they know why they're there. They know how you can help them. They know what the end outcome is going to be, and then they're going to want to read on. And this formula is called PASO, problem, aggravation, solution, and outcome. And you can use this formula when you are writing anything. So if you want to start a web page, if you want to start an email, use this PASO formula. And it's just a really strong way of getting started without thinking, where do I start? So that's your hook section. So the next section is the that's me. So this is where we're going to really delve into the pain points the reader is experiencing so they can say, that's me. So a really good way of setting up this section is using the subhead, ever heard yourself say? And you'll remember I did that earlier on in our time together. I said, have you ever heard yourself say? And then I kind of listed out the sentences you might have thought about writing for your business. And you can do the same on your sales page. So this is a really powerful place for your reader to really understand that this is for them, that you get them, that you understand the problems they're experiencing, and that you can really help them. So ever heard yourself say as the subhead, and then just kind of say in quotation marks sentences that your reader might be thinking in their head. Really get inside their head and think about what they might be saying and list those out there. That's section number 2. Section number 3 is where we delve into your offer. So this obviously is very, very important. And again, the length you go into here will depend on whether you're offering something that's free or kind of a low ticket, or whether you're offering something that they do really need to part with their cash for, and therefore you might have to delve a little bit deeper into your offer. So tell the one reader exactly who this offer is for. So again, just really reinforce that this is the offer for you. This is for you if talking to your one reader. Then you want to explain the one offer for your sales page. So what is included, exactly what they will get, and the benefit for each of the things they will get. So don't just list out, and you will get a checklist. Okay, so why is this checklist important? Why should they care they get the checklist? Make sure you're always ending the sentence with what I call the so what. So they get this, so what? Why should they care? You could include pricing if you need to. So obviously, if you have different prices for packages or the pricing of your course, you should be including that in your sales page. A little sales psychology tip for you is to use price anchoring. So that means instead of going low to high on your pricing, you actually start with the higher price, and then you go to a middle or the lowest price, and then you go whatever your third one is if you have 3. Or if you only have 2, you start with the highest and then go to the one below. And the reason for that psychologically is that people anchor to the higher price, and then the price next to it doesn't seem as high. If you go from low to high, they anchor psychologically to the lower price, and then your prices after that are going to seem higher and higher because they've anchored to a lower price point. So that's a little tip for your pricing. Please make sure you're using testimonials. This is throughout your page, but particularly in your offer section. And testimonials act as a really great click trigger. So that's another little piece of sales psychology for you. If you place testimonials near your buttons, they help people click. They help people that might be sitting on the fence a little bit to click that button in it. And that's what we call a click trigger. The next thing you need to really include in your offer section are the benefits of this one offer. So what will someone get? What will they experience after they have bought your offer or after they have downloaded your freebie? And what you can use here is what we call future pacing. So that's another sales psychology tip where you actually get people to imagine or visualize themselves in that future space where they have got the benefit that you're able to provide for them through this offer. So future pacing is a really strong psychology. Lots of psychologists use that when they're working with their clients, kind of getting them to visualize the outcome, where they want to be in the future. It's a really powerful technique. And you also obviously want to include in your offer the one call to action. So what do you want someone to do? What is the one action you want them to take? So that's your offer section. The next section is your like, note, and trust. So this is where you talk about yourself. Again, if you're just offering a freebie or something that's kind of low ticket, you don't have to go into too much detail. But if this is a high ticket offer, you really do need to build this like, know, and trust factor. So this is where you talk about who you are and how you help, how you personally practice what you preach within your life or business, and how you help others solve this problem before. So those 3 steps maybe only equate to a couple of paragraphs, but there's such a nice little kind of step-by-step formula that you can follow to write that section. Make sure you're including a photo of yourself as well. And you can use this formula when you write the brand story on your About web page too. So it works really, really well for About pages. The like, know, and trust section is so important and so often overlooked. But people like to work with people who they know, who they like, who they trust. So you really do need to build that credibility, especially if you're selling a higher ticket offer. All right, and the last section of your sales page is what we call the objection section. So psychologically, when anyone is reading your sales page, they are looking for a reason to say no. It is human nature. It is fight or flight. They do not want to be forced or to feel like they have to make this decision. They have all these reasons to say no, and they would rather stay in the safe zone where they don't part with their time or money and make it safe. So what you want to do is preempt all the objections, all the questions they might have in their head, and answer them on your page. So you have a whole section for this on a long form sales page. So the way to kind of set this section up that I like to use is to use a subhead that says this, and then whatever your offer is for you, even if, and then you list out the objections they may have. Even if you do not have time for another course right now. Okay, how could you answer that objection? Even if you do not have, you can't justify spending more money on your business right now because you kind of are not earning enough, bringing enough in. That could be an objection. Time and money are huge objections always. So you do want to cover them. Even if you don't kind of answer the objection so much, like give them a kind of foolproof answer, you just want to show them that you know that they're thinking about it. And sometimes that can be enough just to kind of get people over that edge to clicking. So that's your 5th section, the objection section. So really quickly, I just want to give a little bonus slide about your button copy. So buttons, or the call to action buttons on your page, are so, so important. So I just want to give you 3 tips for what, how, and what to write on your buttons. So first of all, the button should be benefit driven. It should finish the sentence, I want to, or I want you to. So as a reader, if, for example, I was selling my website words workshop, which is where I teach people how to write their website copy, I would answer the question on my button, I want to write high converting copy for my website right now. So my button copy would be write high converting website copy for my website right now. That would be my, and don't worry about making the button copy really long. It doesn't have to be 2 words, click now, buy now, register now. Let's make the button copy interesting. It can be long, it can be short, you can play out with different scenarios. But as long as it answers the question, I want to. And it should be written in first person from the reader's perspective. So you're using I, you're using me, not you, okay? So make sure your button is written in first person. And as we talked about earlier, ideally it should have a click trigger near it. So this would be a testimonial, something that's gonna, if someone is not sure, something that's just gonna tip them over the edge to click the button, and that's what we call a click trigger. So that's a really quick bonus slide for you on buttons, because it's so, so important to getting those